What's interesting is sometimes you might think that when you're your own boss, it would make it easier to be like, no, these are the policies. But in actuality, especially for, I think, a lot of women, we fall into the people pleaser category, or it's the early stages of our business and we don't want to lose any potential clients because we want so badly for our business to grow. Welcome to the Energy Within podcast, helping you to embrace your weirdness, beat imposter syndrome, and take action on your soul's purpose. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master teacher, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 176, and it is time to talk about boundaries again, but a even more different angle. I sound like strong bad. Oh my god. Okay, quick reference. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you're gonna think I'm nuts. But your homework is to go look up Homestar Runner, Home, home, STAR, star, runner.com. And if the website doesn't exist anymore, you go look it up on YouTube and you type in strong bad dragon. And you look for the one where he's drawing a dragon. And the instructions are to first draw an S and then draw a more different S. So, anyway, we're going to talk about boundaries from the perspective of being a female entrepreneur. And this is what we're going to go very in depth and do some real work on in my new Boundaries Intensive, which has a much fancier name. I'm calling it The Supported Feminine, Growing Your Business and Living Your Purpose Through Setting Boundaries. So, we all know we need to set boundaries in our personal lives, in our relationships, but this is specifically geared towards setting boundaries so that you can start living an aligned life. Particularly if you are a female entrepreneur, likely in the beginning stages or not yet in the beginning stages but wanting to be, or you've just hit a point of a little bit of stagnation and can't seem to move forward. Boundaries could be something that's missing, especially if you're feeling very unfocused, if you're feeling a little bit of maybe desperation, you're feeling a little bit lost. Setting boundaries can help you start to make some progress. So this is still for you even if you're not necessarily an entrepreneur or have a side hustle or anything like that. But if you just feel like you are in the throes of trying to figure out your life purpose, whatever that may be, this could still be for you. It's really about helping set yourself up so that you can be in alignment. And that involves setting boundaries. So I have a story that I'm going to share during the intensive that was the first real time I can think of that I had to set a boundary where I had to actually fire a client. It was in the fitness space, not here in the Reiki space, but I showed myself that I can trust myself. It was a situation where on the surface, to someone on the outside who might not have seen any of the interactions, it really would seem harmless and honestly maybe a little bit sad from the other person's perspective. However, I knew what my gut was feeling. I knew where my emotions were in relation to all of this. I noticed other lines being crossed. And what's interesting is there were some lines that were crossed that maybe wouldn't have existed with different clients. So there's a lesson there in knowing that boundaries can be different, even when it's technically the same umbrella situation, but a different person. So it'll make more sense when I tell the full story at the intensive. And also just setting boundaries in terms of either accepting a new position, and then when you're fully in your own space, doing your own thing, setting boundaries there around that so that people aren't taking advantage of you and your time and your resources just because you're working for yourself. What's interesting is sometimes you might think that when you're your own boss, it would make it easier to be like, no, these are the policies. But in actuality, especially for, I think, a lot of women, we fall into the people pleaser category, or it's the early stages of our business and we don't want to lose any potential clients because we want so badly for our business to grow. And trust me, I've been there. And I'm still not making millions of dollars by any means. But I have learned a few things that I know are going to be helpful to share with you in setting up these boundaries so that you know what you stand for, what works for you, what you want your life and your business to look like, and more importantly, what you want it to feel like from the get-go. Because it can be easy also to get caught up in the hustle and trying so hard to make things grow that you end up losing yourself and giving so much of yourself away that you end up getting burnt out. And if you can prevent that from happening in the first place, I think you're going to be a lot better off once things really do start to grow. And also, when I say desperation or being desperate, I don't mean it necessarily in the sense where you're out there begging or crying, asking for people to take pity on you, but it's more that feeling inside, like, oh, I gotta make a sale, I gotta get a customer, I gotta do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to grow. So you end up saying yes to everything, even if it goes against your better judgment, your intuition, what feels in alignment, and you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that something's gonna stick, that somebody's gonna buy. For example, I no longer respond to very many DM requests from people that I don't know. And it's probably going to stay that way for a long time. Now, if it's someone I don't know, but it's a normal response to one of my stories, or it feels like a legitimate question, of course I will respond. But if it's typically dudes, so I'm not really talking to any females, it's typically the dudes, but sometimes it's women too. But the guys will drop the DM that's just, hi, or hi, beautiful, or because on Instagram, in the name spot, what you want to do is optimize your bio and put, that field is searchable. If people don't know who you are, they're not searching your name, they're searching for a topic. So if you put what you do in the name spot of your bio, not your handle, not your username, but the name spot, you're more likely to pop up in a search result. So my name says Reiki Master Teacher. So a lot of people, a lot of these guys will say, hi Reiki, like, no. But then I've also fallen into when, say, a woman shows up in my DMs and she's like, oh my God, your profile is amazing, or I love your energy, blah, 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 blah. I used to engage with that because who doesn't want to be complimented? And, you know, you look and you see maybe how many followers they have, and maybe they're at least in the couple thousands. They seem to have decent engagement, and then it turns out they're just a business coach that's trying to get you to buy their stuff. And I don't know how that works, because to invest with any kind of coach, I feel like you've already got to have a basis of trust and a relationship. Like, you got to know who they are. I don't care how awesome your program looks. I'm not spending any money with you if I don't know who you are. So I don't even respond to those anymore. And if anyone asks you to do a collab or to promote anything on their page, that's a scam. Don't engage. But anyway, I have made a decision that my energy is not available for that. So I don't feel bad about it. I don't think twice about it. It's an instant block. But that's a boundary. My boundary is I don't engage with those kinds of DMs. I do not waste my time on it. Not even to have a little fun with them. No time. No need for that energy. Not here for it. Not saying that that's a boundary that's right for everybody. Maybe it'll give you a nice laugh to engage with some of that. But for me, not here for it. Another boundary could be setting up time for yourself. Figuring out a way to get time to work on what you want to work on. Whether it's working on your business or just doing some self-care practices like taking time for a meditation when you know the kids aren't going to be bugging you. So all that said, here's what's going to happen during the supported feminine. I'm going to share those stories with you. I welcome any related stories that you would like to share as well that you feel might benefit anyone else who is in attendance. Then we're going to take some time in the moment for you to figure out what boundaries you need to set for yourself. You can share them or not. You don't have to, but just get them written down. Then we're going to make a plan of what you're going to do to enforce those boundaries, because I feel like that's even harder than setting the boundary. Maybe we can decide what we want a boundary to be, but then we feel bad and we let people step all over it. So we need a plan of, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If someone tries this against this boundary, I'm going to say this. And that'll also release you from any shame or guilt in the moment when it happens, because you already know what you're going to do and you already know your intentions behind it. So it's easier to have that boundary in place already with your action steps ready alongside them. Then, the next most important part, we're going to send some energy both to you and to your boundaries. So we will send Reiki energy to each of your chakras in a way that's going to help support you setting and enforcing your boundaries. And we will also send some Reiki energy along your timeline to help you in those future moments that will come up when someone tries to push one of those boundaries. Having all of that set, being in that right energy, in that calmer frame of mind, is going to help you be more in alignment, or find what your alignment is supposed to be. It will allow you that time and that space to figure it out if you're not already in a space to be working on it. So that time and space to either work on it or figure it out, because they're both important no matter which stage you're at. So honor where you're at. So I think that is where I will leave it. Please follow the link in the show notes to make your way to the page where you can save your spot. It will be recorded, so this is going to be a long experience. I'm expecting 3 to 4 hours worth, and it will be recorded. So if you can't be there live or you can't be there for the entire time, I encourage you to still sign up, because then you will get the recording, but only if you have signed up. And if you'd like to bring a friend, let them know. Get them signed up so that you can do this together. You can have an accountability buddy already there to help you. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me. It's okay to reach out to me in my direct messages, my DMs, with a legitimate question. So don't be afraid that you're going to get blocked because you might show up in a request if you're not already following me or already engaged in a conversation with me. As long as you're not a creepy dude or a coach trying to pitch me her services, you won't get blocked. Like I said, if it's a legitimate question, a legitimate response to something, I will respond to you. You can also ask questions inside the Energy Within Facebook group, so please make sure you hop inside there. Make sure you answer the questions when you request to join. And I sincerely hope to see you there. I'm very excited for this experience. So I am about to go in and teach one of my fitness classes, so this is where I will wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time, and hopefully at the Supported Feminine Boundaries Intensive.